It's a gothic murder thriller. It's not set in medieval times. It's right now, it's happening right now. And it's about 4 children who get snatched and murdered. And their flesh is sold for consumption without people really knowing what it is. But the most frightening thing about it is that a person wrote a letter to make an order for the killer to do that. And it happens all the time. Thousands and thousands of children go missing every year. We have a virtual country of missing children. And that's just in New Zealand. They're never found. They're not found with their parents. They're not found with their friends. They're not shipped across the border because they have cameras everywhere now. And they are never found. So what happens to those children? Well, I got the idea and the challenge from a librarian, and I did the research for things that happen to children and how they react to what's happening to people their age, their size, and what they think about it. I did research in every country I could think of that had a computer that kept records. And I wrote it down in my notebooks and began working with the idea of 4 New Zealand children. And then what happens, or what are the possibilities that happen to those children? What are the figures, the documents of children that die within the first hour after being taken? Children that die after the first 3 hours? Children that are ever recovered, and what the traumas they have, and all that sort of thing. And I didn't begin writing until I had enough figures and enough statistical facts behind my thought to put it down on paper. Well, I had read about the killer in Australia, and there have been others around the world who skinned her kill. And her kill just happened to be her husband. So she skinned him and took it off in one perfect dissection, for a better word. They called his skin the pelt. She skinned and gutted him and hung him up just like we do when we hunt deer or pig. So that was the graphic image. And that was, easy to understand, easy to picture, easy to write down in words, and make the reader understand that it was a gross, filthy, grotesque, nasty thing to do. I grew up with a lot of children around me, and I listened. But more than that, it was each voice had a different thought and a different perspective. So I could look at that problem from 4 different ways and answer that question and that problem the way they would be in that position. So it's hard to understand until you put yourself in the place where you know and you remember how you thought about it at the time to a problem when you were a child. I have had lots of people that read the book. Everyone from 8 years old to 80 has read the book, that has actually picked it up and read it. I've had writers, agents review the book. And they're all intrigued by the book because it pulls them from the moment of innocence lost to the moment of justice gained.